Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Josh Talks. This week, my guest, she is reporter extraordinaire. You've seen her on NXT. She goes all over the place, and there's no one on this planet that loves cereal more than her. It is the cereal queen herself, Alyssa Marino. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Hey Josh, how are you?
I'm good. So what do we got today? Obviously, you got your cereal as always.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. We're enjoying some Cinnamon Toast Crunch churros.
I'm like super jealous of that.
They're
That's incredible.
They're pretty darn delicious, I will not lie to you.
Well, I'm breaking my usual tradition because since I having you on the show, I thought I'd have some food as well. I mean, I don't know if the chewing will interfere with the questions or anything, but I'm on the cinnamon boat with you, but I got some cinnamon life.
Beautiful. I love it. Hey, cereal cheers.
Cereal cheers. Now, one thing you'll probably find very weird with me, if you notice, my cereal is dry. I've never really put milk in cereal, like all my life.
In a way, I'm kind of okay with that because that also means that you're not putting milk first, which is the cardinal sin to me. Do not put milk first.
One of these days, I'll take the brave step and try to put some milk in and see if it changes my life.
Don't push yourself, like one step at a time. Let's see how you feel. It's a process.
What got you so upset? I mean, obviously we all love cereal. We know it tastes delicious.
Yeah.
But what was it? What is it that just made you so into cereal that now you've done your own show, breaking down cereals, interviewing people while eating cereal?
So it all kind of started because I was kind of I wanted to find a way to engage with people on social media. Mm-hmm. When I was first starting to take gigs in wrestling and meeting people at different shows and stuff like that, I remember I posted randomly that I was eating cereal and everybody had something to say about it. Whether it was fans or wrestlers, like people were all, oh my God, like I haven't had Fruity Pebbles in forever or something like that. But like everyone, it seemed to ring bells for everybody. Everyone had something that they wanted to say to interact about it. So I started to just kind of pursue it more and more. And I went into like rating cereals, basically saying that I was the cereal expert. So people, it's an honor. It truly is. But it was funny because it gave me something to kind of toot my own horn about because I love snacks. I love cereal. And then it just developed into me bringing boxes of cereal to wrestling shows and sitting down with people either before or after and just eating a bowl of cereal. It's a really cool way to get to know someone while over any kind of meal or just through, the process of eating.
The worst tasting cereal you've ever had is what?
The worst cereal?
Yes.
All right. The worst cereal I've had on the show was the Hostess Donut cereal. Texture-wise, like the powdered sugar, the powdered donuts.
See, that to me sounds blasphemous because I love Hostess powdered donuts.
I had very high expectations. I had very high hopes. It became almost like a paste. So it was really hard. Maybe you'd make out better since you don't add milk. But when it like mingled with the milk, it just got into like a sludge and it was just not pleasing to eat. It was kind of grainy. But the worst cereal in general is just grape nuts. Because it's like chewing on cinder blocks. Like it's awful.
Do you feel like when you're interviewing people while they're eating cereal, do you feel that kind of like you were saying, adding the extra comfort? Because a lot of times when you're interviewing someone, you've been doing it, I've been doing it. Sometimes people might be very, very tentative in answering questions or giving some details. So you try to find ways to relax them and loosen them up. And I think eating cereal is a very unique way to make that work because now they're focusing on enjoying something. It's like, yeah, this is delicious. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you about all the wrestlers that I hate in the business. Or no.
Oh, we don't do that. No. But I do find though that if someone's maybe having trouble figuring out what they're going to say, it gives them time to think. It gives you time to like actually process things before you speak when you're just mulling it over a bowl of cereal. I kind of like that. Gives time. It gives some processing time.
So what got you into wrestling way back when? Like, what was it that triggered you in your life? Whether it was something you watched or went to a show. What started your passion into wrestling? Yeah. I see.
So I watched when I was a very little kid. Like I watched like WWF, WCW on VHS tapes with my great grandfather. And then I fell off and I didn't watch for the longest time. I moved out to LA and my roommate actually was watching on a weekly basis, still watching, like Raw and SmackDown and NXT. And that's where I started to kind of rediscover a lot of what was out there. And I really enjoyed it. Started going to shows around LA and really just enjoyed the atmosphere. And then the same friend, I wanted to take him to a one-day tryout at Santino Brothers for his birthday. And we went through the whole day and it was very intense. It was incredibly grueling. But the last part of it was all about character development. And Gentleman Jervis, was teaching us the ways of cutting a promo. And I remember getting in the ring and cutting a promo because I've been playing around with this manager character, and just kind of being like, okay, this feels good. Like I like this, and just decided to keep exploring it. Couple months after that, Santino's ended up starting the managers and advocates class, and that was really where I just kind of dove in headfirst and just went for it, and everything kind of just came from there. Just everything I learned during the class, and then started putting it to use.
Yeah, and actually kind of gets into what I was going to ask you in terms of that advocate class. So for people that might be watching this that are not familiar with Santino Brothers, they are pretty much a revolutionary wrestling school in Southern California. Fortunately, due to everything with COVID-19, they have had to, for now, shut down. But we're obviously, going to continue to support them, and they will reopen, be even better than ever. So many incredible wrestlers and personalities have come from that school. Like you, most recently, people would see on TV, Jake Atlas, amongst a number of others, Famous B from Lucha Underground fame, Bateman, who you would see also, in Ring of Honor, and
Brody King, Heather Monroe, so many great talents.
There are tons over the years that have stepped foot in there and then have ventured out and made a success out of it. Shout out to Joey Chaos. And when I heard about the advocate class, starting like a few years or so ago,
yeah,
because I've been in this for a long time where I just kind of got thrown into it. So I was always learning stuff on the fly between my work as a commentator, work as a referee, work as a manager, work as a ring announcer. It's just like, okay, do this. Next time, make sure you do that. And part of me was just like, there's no real training out here. For me, it's just like training for wrestlers. And then all of a sudden, this advocate class begins. And I'm just like, where was this 10 years ago? But so what is that type of experience? And in your opinion, don't you think other wrestling schools around the country should be having more classes solely centered on the other important roles in wrestling besides the wrestlers themselves?
Well, I think it's incredibly important in general because, yes, Santino's in the advocates class was training managers, advocates, commentators, ring announcers, but we were also training referees. We were training production, training people on how to set up and tear down a lighting truss. People that were working handheld video cameras or taking photographs. And I think it's a really, if anything, I think just gives an appreciation for kind of the unseen heroes of any production, of any company. But I also think it's important because it's hard for me to speak from any sense. Like I never competed in the ring. I rolled around, I've done some stuff, but I've never been an actual wrestler, but it's, you know, so much wear and tear on the body. And after your in-ring career ends and you still want to be involved in the wrestling world, isn't it so good if you could have, if your interest lies in commentary or ring announcing or being a personality, it would be so nice to be able to have that option to kind of lean back on when your physical career is maybe on the end, you know. So I definitely think it's an incredible resource. But again, to your point, so much of, and like, I think on any level, there's always some degree of your learning is live. Like when we did the manager class, the first night we got there, we ran live on Facebook. We had wrestlers that had just finished, you know, training in open ring, and they stayed after to help us out in our class. So we had 2 wrestlers compete. I think we might have done 2 matches, and we had 2 wrestlers competing, a manager on either side, 2 commentators, a referee, a ring announcer, and we ran like a little mini show, but it was live, and it was our first night. And like Kevin Cassidy, who ran the class, he really gave us that immersive experience of learn live. This is it. This is your practice.
Weren't you like a human resources person or something? What was your persona?
Human resources, yes. Human resources manager of Santino Brothers. I did some of that for Maverick as well. Yeah.
I just love that concept of someone being, you know, like, no, I'm here to make sure, no, this is a violation.
Yeah. We will not be flying from the top rope. That is dangerous. We don't do that.
Yeah. Here's a funny story for you. It wasn't necessarily like a human resources type, but the very first time that I was having to cut promo in a ring. So this was late 2005, 2006. I'm supposed to be the heel commentator, color commentator. So I'm there, you know, cheering for the bad guys. And we had a certain trying to open the show, but my mic kept like going out on me. So it was like that's I don't want. So it was like, it was terrible. It was awful. I'm just like, worst first impression ever. I'm doomed. I'm never going to have anything in wrestling. And but then there was a little bit of a situation where we needed some filler. So all of a sudden, the promoter, he ran to me. He's like, run out there and do some filler. Like, just start, you know, like talking to the crowd. Mind you, the wrestlers that were in there the match prior were yelling out all sorts of obscenities, very inappropriate. So obviously the crowd is like, you know, very edgy because they're saying things you shouldn't be saying, not just in a wrestling ring, but really anywhere. So then I start coming out there, and our ring announcer is also trying to fill time, and he's asking like fans, because there was a WWE pay-per-view that night, who they think were going to win in those matches. I come out there, I just take the mic, and I just simply say, young man, to like the child, like, would you mind please sitting back down, because I need to say something. And just for me being politely asking, the crowd started like telling me, you know, you suck, chance, and everything. It's like, I got to be like an HR type person. I'm going to be polite and use big words. And just, so pretty much my little filler promo was, I just want all of you to realize that I do not appreciate the negative reaction that you bestowed upon me when I began at the beginning of the show. And just being like polite with it. And the chance just got another. I was out there for like 30 seconds, eventually just like, no, that's enough, and left. And the promoter was just like, what just happened out there? I'm just like, I was polite. He's like, that's your gimmick. And that was really how I started being the polite, follow the rules type persona. So you and I, we got some connection here. What did you enjoy more, like as far as managing, ring announcing, interviewing?
I think I always loved interviewing. I mean, there's nothing like commentary, because I think commentary is just it's it's part of the heartbeat of the show, and I love that. I love that feeling. But I actually really enjoy being a correspondent and being an interviewer, because I feel like it's part of driving the storyline, and it's being able to have the interactions with, with the wrestlers, with the superstars. And I think interviewing is incredible. I love it, because you get some of those really beautiful, just organic moments. So yeah, I think between interviewing and commentary, I think they're two of my favorites.
What do you think helped you the most to get you signed to NXT when you did? Do you think it was with the training that you got at Santino's? Do you think it was your serial interview show, a combination? Like, what do you think it was that really, in your opinion, kind of put you over, like, oh no, I'm ready for this role, and they obviously see I'm ready for this role too? I
think it was a mixture. I definitely think that Santino's played a huge part in it, just for being, where I got my training. And honestly, I think a lot Championship Wrestling from Hollywood was for them to for them to be able to see that I had composure and had been on camera, and I, honestly though, it's like kind of everything, because a lot of what I did at NXT was as a live event host. So I had been a ring announcer at Maverick and at like FSW out in Las Vegas. So being able to kind of have a resume of saying, hey, like, here's where I did commentary, here's who I've worked with on commentary, here's where I've ring announced, these are the promotions I've worked for, I was on this, nationally televised show doing, as a correspondent. So I think just like being able to showcase the different skills I had, I think was really important, because I was it was something where, yes, I went in there and I learned the WWE way, but I also had a background where if I was kind of ready if you needed to throw me into anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. The ready for anything mentality.
Biggest difference between the WWE way and the independent way is what?
I think just the level of professionalism, everything from how you hold yourself in the ring. I remember there was independent shows where I'd be in the middle just like, yeah, like, just kind of hanging. But, there's a certain, respect, a certain professionalism that, and obviously, if and when anything gets back up and running, like, that's definitely something I'm going to carry anywhere I go now, because I think it's a good habit. It shows, a respect and a decorum to the role. So I definitely think it was a different feeling and a different vibe that I think was incredibly positive and powerful, that I will take with me.
What was the most unique note that you've gotten from doing the live events that stuck with you? That, like, I would never have thought of that, something along those lines.
I don't think it's something I never would have thought of, but it was something it's like, it seems so obvious, but it's like, until you hear it from someone, you're like, ah. And it was basically the idea of wanting it to get to the point where you don't see the wheels turning anymore. I was doing, I was, of course, like, wanting to do my best and wanting to just be an expert in what I was doing. And of course that takes repetition, that takes learning. So, every time I would get into the ring and get ready to announce someone, it was like, okay. And you could see all the wheels turning and kind of getting the note of, I just want you to get to the point where this is just a day at work. Like, the wheels aren't spinning so hard. I don't see the steam coming out your ears, but you have a confidence, because that'll be it. That's the key. Once you get that comfortable and that confidence, that's the ticket. So.
Don't mean to get, a little more like, serious or anything in this conversation. We're having fun. We're enjoying our cereal and whatnot. I do have to ask you, obviously, in the midst of everything going on with COVID-19, there was the infamous Black Wednesday through the WWE and NXT with everything. Were you notified on that day, or was there something that came out later on?
No, I mean, it was a day, and I think in the midst of everything that was going on, it was just kind of putting everything in perspective of like, okay, this is the situation. This is what we're dealing with. What, just, yeah, it was, I'm trying to think. I think it was one of those things where, it was a day. We'll say that. It was a day.
I'm sure. I mean, there are a lot of people I know that were, impacted by that day, which was not a good thing. Who was the first person that reached out to you?
It's kind of crazy because it was a lot of people, like you said, in the same boat. So I think everyone was kind of just checking in on one another. So I couldn't tell you who the first person was, but I know I felt very grateful that I received a lot of, a lot of love, a lot of support, and a lot of encouragement, which is great. Because, like, hope is not lost. Right. It's one of those things where, like kind of how you were saying about Santino, it's like, the idea is, when we can come back better and stronger. So I think it was just a lot of overwhelming support, which was absolutely incredible.
So what do you think will be next? Obviously, there's not much that can be next while we're all trapped inside. But when we finally get to, quote unquote, back to normal, what do you think will be next for you? We got obviously the YouTube show. Trying to work, be back in NXT, AEW, Impact, back up to California. What do you think is on the horizon for the serial queen?
I think right now just kind of seeing what projects I can get involved with. I don't have my I think it's one of those things, just kind of taking one day at a time, just the way things are, seeing what's out there and seeing what I can do next. Obviously right now I'm doing a lot of, work on the YouTube show and kind of my own projects and, some, little things in the works here and there.
Are you able to share what these little things in the work are at all, or no?
Nothing of note just yet, but definitely, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Okay. Last question, because I've been actually very curious about this ever since I've seen you start the serial show.
Yeah.
What's your second favorite food?
Bread. Honestly, like, give me a good Italian roll and call it a day. Give me some olive oil, a little bit of seasoning, and let me go. Yeah, bread. Just love it. I'm a carb queen. I love carbs.
I thoroughly enjoy carbs as well. Unfortunately, they decided to stay with me for a long period of time. So
carbs love you back as much as you love carbs, and that's what we love about them.
I guess they really love me then because they won't leave me.
They're stubborn. They hang on.
Yes. Well, I was like, I can't thank you enough for taking time hanging out today. What would you like to promote? Obviously, we got the YouTube show.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's promote. Let's get serial. Let's promote your Twitter. What do you want people to know about you?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's right now more than ever. Let's just spreading love, spreading kindness, doing your best to be your best. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at AYY_Marino. And then all the links are in my bio to the YouTube show where I eat cereal and talk to people.
There you go. So make sure you follow Alyssa on social media, as well as definitely check out Let's Get Serial. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Tariff. New episodes of Josh Talks come up every Tuesday, so make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Alyssa, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.